So hello everyone and welcome. I'm really glad that you could join us. This Q&A is called the Streamline Your Design Business Q&A. So how it's going to work is there won't be, there'll be a few slides at the end, but other than that, there won't be any slides. You'll just get to see our faces and ask us questions, and we'll all just have a conversation about how you can streamline your design process and speed it up so that your design projects move along faster, move along easier, and so that you just work smarter and not harder. Because when you learn to design smarter, your projects move quicker and far more seamlessly. So that means that your projects don't take as long anymore, and you can spend that time to take on more clients or do the things that you love. So for me, that was travel. When I first realized that I wanted to really streamline my design process and my client projects, I did it because I wanted to free up time to allow me to travel the world and to do things that I really enjoy, like make more time to go to the gym or make more time to learn a language. So my point is that when you streamline your design process, those are the kinds of things that you can make time for. So I'm just going to quickly see. Yeah, okay, so everyone's still coming in. Hello, Sonia and Addison. And I think we are pretty much good to go. So I'm going to introduce you guys to me first, and then Britt can introduce herself. So for anybody who doesn't know me, my name's Nisha, and I teach freelance designers how to streamline their project process so that they can run a business that feels simple and easy to run, and so that they feel confident running their business and they don't feel like their business runs them. And I do that through my course, Organize and Automate, and also through things like these workshops, through my blog, and through ebooks. So I will just hand over to Britt, and she can introduce herself to you guys as well.
Hi guys, I'm so excited to be here. I'm Brittany, the designer behind Branded by Britt, and I design brands and websites for female creative entrepreneurs and bloggers. And I also design WordPress websites using Dippy.
Awesome. And Britt is such an amazing designer, you guys. How long have you been full-time? Full-time now? You've been full-time for about 1 year, I think?
1 year, yes. This month will make it a year. Yep.
Oh, so exciting.
You're
going to have to do something to celebrate.
I will. I will, definitely. And my birthday's coming up, so I'm totally in party mode all month.
Yes, and too right as well. Stacey just said she loves Divi. So This is the right designer for you to talk to, Stacey. Yes. So Britt is just really one of my favorite designers around, because I just love her design aesthetic, and I just love her and her website. She's really, really cool. So I can't wait for you guys to get to know her and to learn more about her journey. You went from being an Etsy shop owner to a full-time freelance designer. So I think it'll be interesting for us to tell everyone more about that story. Let me just quickly explain to everyone how the webinar will work and how asking questions will work, and then we can kind of jump in. So how it works basically is if you have any questions at all about streamlining your design projects, your client process, or anything to do with your design business at all, then ask away in the chat box and we'll answer. And you can literally ask us anything as long as it's about running a design business. So for example, you can ask us about our client onboarding processes and offboarding processes, our project management, inbox management, how we deal with nightmare clients, literally anything. Our brains are yours to pick for an hour. And the way you ask a question is you just go on the chat box on this page, and there's a drop down next to it. So you just click that, select the Q&A button, and then that will just flag the question as read so that we can easily find it, basically. So let's kick things off and have Britt tell you a bit more about herself. So Britt, tell us about your journey to becoming a full-time freelance designer. How did you get there, and what did that transition look like?
Yeah, so I started freelancing about 3 years ago, and I started by opening up an Etsy shop, selling pre-made logo designs and graphics for blogs. And I started it with the intention just to build an online portfolio and kind of gain more experience while I was in college and looking for design jobs after I graduated. And fortunately, over the next couple of years, I was able to land several jobs. I worked for magazines and ad agencies, and my most recent job was as a web designer for the Air Force, which was pretty sweet. But honestly, it was just miserable for me because the 9-to-5 was just not my style. And I quickly learned that. So I just felt like I wasn't being like inspired by the work that I was doing. I wasn't fulfilled. So I found myself sitting at my desk pretty much every single day, daydreaming about creating new designs or new Etsy listings and new websites. And I knew something had to change because I just wasn't where I wanted to be. And I knew it was possible to freelance full time, but I just didn't feel fully prepared to take that step just yet. But then one day I stumbled upon a massive community of designers who were freelancing full time, doing what they love to do, and absolutely killing it. And you were one of them. I followed your blog and I was completely inspired by the work that you were doing and so many other designers. And it instantly clicked that like, hey, I could totally do this. And, the best part is that these designers were so open about how they were doing it and making it happen. And there were just so many resources out there available to me. So for the next 6 or 7 months after that, while working my day job, I just researched and tried to absorb as much information as I possibly could. And I had an online portfolio at the time built on WordPress. So I had experience working with, websites and stuff. So I bought a new domain name. I bought an email address, and I started an Instagram account. And I started looking to other designers to see how I could build out my packages and price them. And and then I built out my website. And I also became more involved in the community as well. So I joined Facebook groups and Twitter chats and just began commenting on blogs and just try to be more involved and learn as much as possible and connect as much as possible.
That's what I did when I first became a freelance designer. Back then, there weren't really Facebook groups that designers could join. Like, Facebook groups weren't a big thing. I don't even know if they were around back then. And Twitter chats were just becoming a big thing. So for me, it was commenting on people's blog posts and just connecting with people on Twitter. Connecting with other designers is just such a great fast track way to start your business, I think. Oh yeah, definitely.
And they're so helpful too. Like, I was amazed about how friendly the community was and just how open everybody was. And it really just inspired me. And I just had so much fun pulling everything together and building out my website and trying to figure out my business plan. I was like, this is what I need to be doing. So I didn't even have any clients lined up at the time, but I took the leap of faith anyway. And I put in my 2 weeks and launched Branded by Britt, and it kicked off, and it's honestly been an incredible journey ever since.
Oh, I love your story, because I feel like so many people can relate to that. Like, for me, for instance, when I was quitting my day job, I was a shop assistant, and I always stalked designers on Pinterest, and I stalked their blog posts, and I would see these really pretty images of their workspaces and what their day-to-day life looks like working with clients, and I would feel so jealous because I was stuck there and I really wanted to be doing what they were doing. So I can totally relate and remember the whole excited, fulfilled feeling that you get when you first kind of transition away from the normal 9-to-5 life towards the kind of life that you actually want to be living. So I love that. And yeah, so let's talk about streamlining, since the whole webinar is based around that topic. So how important do you think a streamlined design process is? Because before we go on, I should tell everybody that you're a student in Organize and Automate. You joined last year, which is how I know you're so streamlined. So yeah, tell us a little bit about how important you think a streamlined design process is. Are you still there? Let me see. Can you guys hear and see Britt? I'll see if I can get any answers. Okay, thanks, Rita. She said she froze. Okay, well, we'll wait for Britt to come back. And while we wait, I'll just answer Rita and Louie's questions. So Rita said, how do you set up deadlines to lazy clients who don't care about their homework deadlines? They think they have all the time in the world. And how many times a week is okay to pursue these people? Or how can I escape from these kinds of people? Okay, that's a really, really good question, because I feel like this is a problem that a lot of designers struggle with, is actually getting clients to stick to deadlines, which I know can seem really difficult, because I remember being there and I remember literally wanting to pull my hair out, because I would have clients that were literally so late with feedback that I would be going 3 weeks over the deadline. And of course, that pushes you then into other projects, which just isn't good. So how can you set up deadlines for them and make them actually care about them? My tip for this is to just really be clear on how important deadlines are right from the beginning. So I literally mean before they've even booked the project. When you're talking with them on your initial client consultation, which I hope that you do, when you're talking with them on a client consultation, one of the things that you should bring up is how important deadlines are. And what you should also be doing is giving them a deadline for the actual finish date for the project. So if you can calculate how long most of your projects take you, then you'll know every time you go to quote someone for a project, you'll know roughly when you're going to finish that project. So you need to tell the client that date up front. And yeah, okay, she's still frozen, just checking. And yeah, so you need to tell them that up front. You need to be really clear about how important deadlines are. And what I would say is use a system like Asana, because I use Asana with all of my clients. And what I do is every time their feedback is due, or every time files are due from them, I just I mark the task within Asana itself as I mark it as it's due for them. So what Asana will then do is it will send them an email reminder when the due date is coming up. So that's really handy for me and for most designers, because whenever their feedback is due, their files are due, or their payment is due, Asana will send them an email straight to their inbox without you having to do anything, just reminding them that that's what they need to provide their designer with. So that's one of my best tips really for making sure that they stick to deadline times. How many times a week is it okay to pursue people on deadlines? Well, again, like I said, if you've set up these due dates within Asana, you don't have to do it personally, because Asana will do it for you. But if you are going to do it personally, I would say maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe, because it depends on how long you have actually set for them to give you feedback. Because when I start all of my projects, I tell them up front that by the time they receive designs from me, they have 2 days to give me feedback. So that kind of gives them some leeway, some room to just get on with their day-to-day lives and make time for this. And 2 days is usually enough. So Libby said, how do you deal with clients sending lots of emails for changes that are all related to one project? Okay, so again, use a project management tool like Asana, because then what they can do is just write down all of the changes that they want on one task. So they don't have to send you or bombard you with email after email with all these different changes. And then you just are completely freaking out because you're disorganized and it's all over the place and you have to trail through emails to find their feedback. Just get them to write down their feedback on the relevant task within Asana. That's literally all you have to do. It's really, really simple. And if you tell your clients, again, if you're really clear with them up front and you tell them that's how it works, that they have 2 days to provide feedback, for example, and that they can write their feedback all in one on that specific task, then they'll follow that, because it's really straightforward to use Asana. It's really, really super, super easy. So if you just tell them that that's how it's done, that will stop that whole problem of you having tons of emails from them. Okay, guys, let me just see if I'm loving all the questions that you're giving as well. Let me just see if I can get Britt back, because it would be awesome if she gives you her perspective as well. So, and I will get back to the questions in 1 second. Okay, so what I'm going to say is, Britt, if you can hear me, just click the link to come. I'm going to eject you as a presenter. That's what it's called apparently. If you can hear me, just log back into the webinar room and it should work again. Okay, so Libby also said where you have to go through each email and check that you've not missed anything. I've asked in the past for one list, but soon they're back to sending bits and pieces. Yeah, again, it comes down to using a project management tool, because that eliminates the whole need for you and the client to talk through email. You can just keep your whole project organized within that system. And the reason I recommend Asana is because it's really easy to use, really simple, and it's free. So that's always a good point. Madeline has asked, are there any specific Facebook groups or communities that you'd recommend? I'd love to connect with some other designers. Well, I have a group. It's currently called the She Answers Club, but it's changing names because most of us inside the club are designers. So I am just going to call it what it is. And that is a group of designers. So you can find that on my website in the footer. You can sign up for the wait list because it's not open at the moment. But other Facebook groups that you could join that are just for designers are the Get Back to Design Facebook group by Krista Miller and Corey Woodard. That's a really, really great group. It's full of designers, and yeah, it's just a really great group for you to be a part of. And I highly recommend joining Facebook groups filled with other designers, because that's the way that you connect with others. It's the way that you make friends with them. And it's the way that you also potentially get people to refer work to, and who can refer work to you. Hey, she's back, everyone.
You're back. What happened?
Hey. Did you go? Yeah. Everyone said that you just kind of froze, so I was just kind of hoping she'll log out and log back in. It'll be totally fine.
So your screen went black on me, so I was the one that froze?
Yeah, but it's totally fine. I've just carried on answering people's questions. Don't worry about it though. And yeah, people have asked some really, really great questions. So we're on to, we're on to Amanda's question. If you can see it, it says, I'd love to hear about your guys' client onboarding process. What do you use for contracts, design questionnaires, etc.? I have a whole template set up in Asana, thanks to Nisha, but there's so many tools to use for different things. So what about you, Britt? What do you use for contracts and questionnaires?
So for contracts, I use HelloSign. And thanks to you, I was introduced to that. It's a really great tool to send out PDFs and get your clients to sign. Mm-hmm. And they also allow you to set reminders, and I just love it. And as far as, what was the other one instead of contracts? Questionnaires.
Questionnaires.
Yeah, I use Typeform. Typeform is a really great tool to build out your questionnaires. I think it's free as well. I love
Typeform. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about the payment plan for it, because I joined when it first came out and it was in beta. So I have no idea what the current pricing is like, but I can highly recommend Typeform. And also, if you don't want to use an outside service, you could always just create a questionnaire on your own website, which I also do for certain things as well. And it just keeps everything nice and streamlined and branded.
Yes.
Yeah, and Amanda as well, what I would suggest is, if you don't like using different tools, so say you don't want to use HelloSign and you don't want to use a different tool for questionnaires, if you want everything under one roof, there are apps that you can use to do that, like Dubsado or 17 Hats. So those are two really great programs that you can have a look at. They come with a monthly fee, but they allow you to do absolutely everything within that one program. So, and those are things as well that I'm going to be adding to my course soon when the next round of updates come. So I'm really excited about that. So Sarita has said, are there templates in, I think she means in Organize and Automate, I'm struggling with writing my intake questionnaire in my process. Yes, there are absolutely templates because I basically want to make this whole streamlining process as easy as possible for you and as quick as possible for you. I don't want you to have to spend tons of time doing this, because what you really want to be doing is getting back to design work. So there are plenty of templates. There are email scripts that you can use for milestones throughout your design projects. There's a questionnaire example that you can use, my own brand and website questionnaire. So you can just take the questions from that if you want. And yeah, there's a design process cheat sheet, which you can use to map out your design process within Asana. So there's literally templates for everything. Okay, so Amanda said, I'd also love to hear exactly how you guys deliver files to clients. That's a great question. How do you deliver your files, Britt?
So I use, and I've been using it for a very long time, WeTransfer.com, and it allows you to send up to 2 gigabytes of to a client, and it also sends you a notification to your email when the client has downloaded the file, so you know if they received it and they got everything. And it's a really good tool. WeTransfer.com. Yeah.
Awesome. So I've just put that in the chat box, guys, in case you want to check it out or you want to write it down for later. I've always used Dropbox. I'm a big fan of that.
Yes.
So yeah, those are 2 that you could check out: Dropbox and WeTransfer.com. And Stacey has said, what about if your clients aren't tech savvy? I'd love to use Asana, but I know my clients wouldn't use it. That's a question that I get a lot around the whole Asana topic. Is a lot of designers don't think that their clients will use it because their clients aren't very tech savvy, or they just would prefer to use email. But I can honestly, hand on heart, say that I've never had a client objecting to using Asana, especially once you show them how easy it is to use. And that's why inside Organize and Automate, this was a problem that a lot of my past students were kind of like debating in their minds. So in this latest version of the course, what I've done is I've added a video all on how to train your clients to use Asana, or to use whatever project management tool you prefer. And there's a video script that you can use if you want to record your own training tutorial for your clients, or I've recorded a training video for you, so just to make this process even faster for you guys. So I talk on behalf of their designer, and I just literally show them in 5 minutes how their designer will use Asana with them and how the features work. So you could just send that to them to train them if you'd prefer. What do you think, Britt? Have you ever had anybody objecting to using a project management tool with you?
Yeah, I've had a couple who were a little hesitant at first, but once they get in there and I show them the tutorials and things like that, it's super easy. It's just like a commenting system, and there's very easy ways to attach files. And yeah, they love it. They absolutely love it.
It is really amazing. It changed my whole design life.
Oh yeah, it's a game changer for sure.
Yeah, it will, honestly, guys, it will change your whole system, and it will just cut down on the amount of crazy stress that you feel when you're actually working with clients. Because for the first 2 years of my business, I just communicated with clients through back and forth emails. And I would end up with clients who would create multiple threads. They wouldn't just stick to one thread. They would create multiple email threads. So I would have emails left, right, and center all over my inbox. And when I wanted to get back to the feedback that they gave me originally for their first logo draft, I could never find it. And it was all just crazy. So when you use a tool like Asana, you can just keep everything structured. So all of their feedback for their logo goes in the logo section, and all the feedback for their website goes in the website section. It's just a total game changer. Rita says, I love Asana. I use Asana every day since April last year. Yes, awesome, Rita. It is such a great tool. So Nisa said, how did you, is it Nisa or is it Nissa? I'm sorry, I think I might be saying it wrong. She said, how did you develop your client contracts and legal copy for your websites? Well, for me, I didn't do it myself. You can either buy a template, or you could hire a lawyer, or just do something like that. So I would recommend my friend Annette Stepanian, who is a really, really awesome attorney of law, and she sells contracts for designers, for web graphic and print designers on her website. So I'd recommend going and using that. And Campbell has said, do you recommend any CRM for email for those using Apple Mail and not Gmail? I can't think of any off the top of my head because I'm a huge Apple Mail hater, but because I just feel like, I don't know, I just really don't like Apple Mail. But the one that I use for Gmail is called Streak, and it's free. What about you, Britt? Can you think of anything?
No, I'm all for Gmail right now. So I don't really have too much experience working with Apple Mail.
Me neither. I feel like the reason that I use Gmail, in case anybody else is wondering, just because it comes with so many amazing features, like literally so much. You can do so much in Gmail that most people don't even know about. I had a woman who enrolled in Organize and Automate earlier this week, and then she messaged me yesterday saying she'd gone through the Gmail section in the course and didn't even realize that that Gmail could do some of this stuff. And I really think that there are some hidden features that people just have no clue about, like Seriously. Keyboard shortcuts and all kinds of crazy goodness.
Yeah.
Which I don't know whether, I just don't know whether Apple Mail has a lot of the stuff that Google has. But yeah, I just really love Gmail for business. Okay, so Olivia said, thank you. I never thought of using Asana for that. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that we've introduced you to Asana. Ola said, I've been using Asana for my own purposes to keep organised with my projects, but never thought of using it with clients. You should absolutely use it with clients. It will change your life. I'm such an Asana addict. You can totally tell. I'm getting way too passionate about it.
A good reason.
So Lisa has said, I use Asana for my PM system, and I tend to attract non-techie clients that don't use the system or have trouble with it. This creates more problems than it solves. How to deal with a non-techie client that just doesn't want to use the system? Do I just deal with the emails and enter the info into Asana? I wouldn't say that it makes sense. If they don't want to use Asana, then maybe it doesn't make sense for you to be like communicating with them through email and then you trying to transfer it all over to Asana, unless you want to do that. I mean, you could set up an email system that will hopefully be a little bit more streamlined than what you've got at the moment. Like, so I can't even put it into words how to explain this. I do it in a tutorial, but it's hard to explain without Gmail in front of me. But you can create categories inside of Gmail, and you can use a CRM tool like Streak. You could use it to manage your clients. So you would create a pipeline within Gmail, and you can basically keep all of your files and messages in the client pipeline. It's inside the course, but yeah, so you could do that. And how that would work is the client wouldn't see all of the Streak stuff. They'll just be using their regular email, but it will help you to stay more organized in your inbox, which is the most important thing. If the client is happy enough to use email, then what you need to do is focus on making sure that you're as organized as possible, because I know that when you're not organized, it just makes your projects a lot more stressful. So try and be as streamlined as you can with managing your clients in your inbox, and use a tool like Streak to do it. What do you think, Britt? Have you got anything else to add to it?
I agree. You nailed it.
So Campbell said, if you add questionnaires and testimonial forms to your website, how do you allow only current clients to access it? What do you think?
So we add questionnaires and testimonials forms.
I would say,
yeah, go ahead.
I would say that you can password protect the page, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I have a separate, so what I use is Typeform for my forms, for my questionnaire, and I embed that into a page on my website, and I password protect it, or I don't even make it available at all. Like no links are available on my website, so it's not like anybody can just click and access it. You have to have a direct link in order to get to it. But yeah, just password protecting is probably one of the best ways.
Yeah, I would say so too. Just password protect, or don't make the links available to everybody on your website. Jessica said, do we get access to updates and do we have lifetime access to the course? Yes, to both questions. Whenever anybody joins the course, they get lifetime access, and they also get access to every update that comes to the course within the future, because of course technology changes, which means that the tutorials have to change. New tools come out that start becoming really popular, like Dubsado, which is why I'm going to be adding that to the next round of updates. So it just is fair. It seems fair to me to just let all of my past students have access to all of the updates in the future. I've enrolled in courses before where I've paid much more than this course is. I've paid like $2,000 for one course. And then I realized after I'd enrolled that you only get access for, I think it was about 10 weeks, and you don't get access to the updates, which I just think is really crazy. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, so I'm not going to roll like that. I'm not a big fan of that. So that's why you'll get lifetime updates, lifetime access. Okay, so whose question were we on?
Lindsay's, I believe. Lindsay P.
So Lindsay said, how much time do you allocate per project? I find that they always run past the time allocated because of all the back and forth and the missing of client deadlines. How many projects do you work on at once? So Britt, how much time do you give for most of your projects normally? Do you have like a set timeline?
Yeah, well, I plan to have projects take 6 to 8 weeks for branding and website. And it honestly doesn't always work that way, because you're right. I mean, things kind of go back and forth all the time and clients miss the deadlines. But yeah, I try to give a block of 6 to 8 weeks for a project. And I take on about, I took on more. I was like at 4 clients per month, which was miserable because I was doing so much. But now I try to cut back to 2 clients per month. Yeah,
I've always preferred doing 2 clients per month as well. I went to that stage where I took on too many.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you're constantly communicating, or you're constantly getting clients confused in your mind. unless you subcontract, which is a great solution to that. And you could kind of grow a team of other designers so that you can take on more projects, but you yourself could just focus on 1 client per month. But like Britt said, it's just nice to focus on 2 clients per month if you're a one-person business. And she also asked how many projects. Oh, wait, we answered that, haven't we? Yeah, how much time and how many projects? Yeah, we've done it. Okay, so Amelia asked, I've just started the Organize and Automate course and watched the Automate emails part. However, I always think automated emails are impersonal. So when do you actually use the automated email answers? Are you on about the... Let me just clarify, Amelia, and then when you tell me in the chat box, I can answer the question properly. Do you mean the autoresponder lesson in the course, or do you mean the email scripts part where you've got a script for milestones within the design project? So just let me know and then I can answer the question. Okay, Nissa, so it's Nissa like Melissa. Okay, awesome. Lindsay, I started with Asana thanks to you, Nisha. Oh, awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. And Ola has said, is it streak or streak? It's STREAK. Okay, so Kat has got a really interesting question. She said, do you use a client portal on your website or anywhere else? What do you do? Do you have like a client area that you send your clients to at the end of a project?
Yes, I do. And I actually have video tutorials because I build my websites using Divi. And I have video tutorials that explain how to update their content, kind of just the overall basics so they understand Divi in general and things like that. And I also include PDF files. It's just like a whole portal for them to access. And then I also have my information. So if they want to reach out to me, they can send support questions through there.
Awesome. I think it's a really, really great idea for every designer to have a client portal or a client area for their clients to access after the project, because especially if you're using a system that's robust like WordPress, your clients are going to come back to you with a lot of questions if you don't give them something like a client area where you have lots of video tutorials and recommended resources and things like that all in one section. And it just really cuts down on the amount of questions that your clients will send you after the project is over, because I know that's a total nightmare. Have you ever been in that situation where the project finishes but the client continues to email you like every day or multiple times a week for weeks after the project is done?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm kind of going through that right now. But that's why I leave about 30 days post-launch support so they can email me as many times as they want during that time span. But after the 30 days, then I kind of make it clear to them that, hey, it's going to be charged at an hourly rate.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point as well, guys, is that if you not only create a client area for your clients to access tutorials and things at the end of the project, but you also give them a certain allocated amount of time for email support, then it kind of gives you the right to tell the client, okay, after this certain amount of time, you'll be billed per hour for any further help or advice that you need. And clients usually get that. Like, most of your clients will understand that and will find that really reasonable. And it's just a great way for you to cut down on clients that stick with you for months and months and months. Okay. So Amelia said autoresponders. Let me read what her question was again. I think the automated emails are impersonal. So when do you actually use the automated email? Okay, so if you don't like to use an autoresponder, you don't have to use one if you don't want to. I would always say to people, if you're not comfortable with doing something in your business, don't push yourself to do it. But I use an autoresponder all of the time. So if somebody emailed me right now, for instance, they would get an autoresponder straight away, but it doesn't, the trick is to not be tricky about it. So don't try and act in your autoresponder like it's you replying straight away, because I think that's when it gets really sleazy. Just tell people at the very beginning of your autoresponder, and I think this is in the template that's inside Organize and Automate. At the very beginning of your autoresponder, tell people that this is an automated reply, just to let them know that you've received their email and that this is how long it usually takes for you to get back to them. And that does two really important things. Number one, it tells your clients and anybody else who's emailed you, it tells them that you have received the email. And number two, it tells them when they can expect to hear back. And that's important because sometimes you'll find that some clients, if you don't, I don't know why some people are like this, but if you don't reply within an hour or within the day, or if they've emailed you in the nighttime, on the evening, and you haven't replied that same evening, then you get another email the next morning where they're really angry that you haven't replied to them, or they've seen that you were online and you didn't reply to them, or something like that. So what an autoresponder does is it eliminates that completely, because they now know automatically that you have got the message, that they don't need to email you again the next morning to check that you've got it, and they know how long it will take you to reply. Do you have an autoresponder, Britt, or do you just not have it yet? Because I know it wasn't organized until this month.
Yeah, I don't have it yet, but when I email you, I get the autoresponder. I was like, This is neat. I should probably implement this at one point, because I do get a lot of emails about different things, and it's good just to kind of guide them in the right direction, not leave them hanging, especially if you're at a busy time and you can't respond back quickly enough. So great idea.
Yeah, it is really, really helpful. And if you don't want to use an autoresponder all the time, I would say to people, at least use it when you're, like Britt said, when you're really, really busy, and it will take you a few days to reply to people. It's kind of polite of you to let them know that that's how long it will take. And also, if you're going away on holiday, then I would say use an autoresponder, because then that will tell people you're away and your assistant will get back to them, or you will get back to them when you're back from your vacation. Okay, so where did we get to?
I think we're at Lisa's question.
All right, let me find Lisa. Okay, she said, I love the client portal idea. Do you have a separate one for each client, or just one that covers all the basics? So what do you do, Britt?
So I just have one page that has all the basics, but eventually I want to start creating custom tutorials for them and kind of make it a little bit more personalized. I'm not really sure how I would go about it, because I don't want to create a separate page on my website for every client. But yeah, just for now, I do have one page that covers just all the basics.
I teach in Organize and Automate to do two things. So the first one is create a client area, which is what Britt has, and it's what I have, and all the other designers who've been through Organize and Automate have. Create a client area with all the basics on. So this would be basic tutorials like, in Britt's case, because she uses WordPress, it would be like basic WordPress tutorials, resources, different things like that. And then a way around creating a client portal per client is to do a one-on-one training session. So this is the other thing that I teach in Organize and Automate. So number one, have the client area, and number two, do a one-on-one training session. So at the very end of the project, the client pays, you send over their files, but also send them a link to schedule a training session with you. And then download a tool called Ecamm, which is an add-on for Skype. It lets you record your calls. And then what I do is I just train the client one-on-one, which gives me a chance to go over things that are more personal to them, like features on their website that they have that I don't need to create a tutorial for and add to the client area, because nobody else really has it. So it's cases like that where a one-on-one tutorial is really handy. And you can do it in 30 minutes to 1 hour. And then once you've recorded the tutorial, you just give that to the client as well as access to the client area. So that's what I find really handy. That's cut down on tons and tons of questions for me from clients.
It's called Ecamm?
Yeah, it's called Ecamm. It's a really great tool. It's probably one of my favorite things I've ever invested in. I think it's only like $29.
Okay.
But it's just awesome. It helps you record all of your calls so that you can just send them to your clients afterwards.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so Kat said the constant support emails are exactly what I'd like to prevent. Yes, I can remember feeling the exact same way. So Nissa said, thank you, this is super helpful. Can you repeat the name of the person who sells designer contracts? Yeah, I will type her, one sec, I'll type her URL into the chat box so that you guys can go and check out her contracts. Okay. So Campbell has said, with Asana, do your clients have to become team members in order to assign tasks, or is there a way to keep them from seeing other projects? They don't become team members. So when you're in Asana, instead of adding them as a team member, you add them to the project as the client, and then they get an invite from Asana to join the project. They have to create a login. And then once they've done that, they only get access to their project. So they don't get access to your other client projects. That would be super weird if they did. So Ali said, do you work with clients across the pond? And if so, how do you manage the time difference between these clients? What about you, Britt? Do you work with clients that are outside of America?
No, I haven't yet. But I have almost collaborated with a freelance designer, because at the time I was kind of overwhelmed and I wanted to work with the logo designer, and she was amazing, but she lived in Australia and it's like literally complete opposites. So yeah, the time frame was definitely conflicting, and I kind of just made the decision to not work with her. But yeah, if I do have clients that come to me, I always try to refer other designers to them, because I feel like it's just going to help them in the long run. I mean, the time zones might be a little bit tricky for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've always worked with people from other countries, but mainly clients from the US. And time zones have never really been a massive issue for me. I think you just kind of get used to it. I still only work 9 till 6 p.m. Hopefully, it's usually like 5, but sometimes it's 6. So I still work 9 till 6 p.m. UK time. But America's like not, the time zone difference isn't that crazy. It's like 6 hours, I think. So it's not too bad. I've always found communication is totally fine. And I've always given my clients 2 or 3 days to give feedback on their designs. So that gives us plenty of time in regards to time zone differences. And when it comes to scheduling calls and things as well, again, the time zone difference isn't crazy. So if I have to hop on a call with a client at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., I really don't mind, because that's not that late for me. But I would say if it was somebody who was maybe in Australia or something like that, where the time difference is really, really big, then maybe that might be a bit tricky. So maybe just take into account where they live before you agree to take them on as a client. Let me see. Okay, we are going to wrap up the questions in a bit, you guys, because I want to tell you all about a super special offer that I have for you guys. I haven't done in any of my other webinars. I did it because it was in popular demand. So I'll tell you about that in a second, but we'll just wrap up these few questions first. So Sarita said, with the autoresponder, do you ever forget to respond? Sorry, guys, can you hear me echoing? Or can you hear me echo, or is it okay, Britt?
Yeah, you sound good to me.
Oh, okay. I'll just ignore it then. I can like hear myself after every sentence.
Oh,
it's really weird.
That's like the most distracting thing ever.
I know. Sarita said, with the autoresponder, do you ever forget to respond? Like, does Gmail leave the email marked as unread so you know who to respond to? That's not how a autoresponder works. So when the emails come in to your inbox, they're still marked as unread. It's just that your inbox, as soon as those emails come in, the autoresponder goes straight to their inbox, but it doesn't mark them as read. So you'll never forget to check them. And Sarita said, what tools do you use to create your training videos? You could use, it's as simple as QuickTime. You could use QuickTime to create your training videos. What do you use, Britt?
ScreenFlow.
Yeah, I have ScreenFlow too.
ScreenFlow, yeah, ScreenFlow is a good one.
Yeah, ScreenFlow is really, really good. But lately, I've actually been using QuickTime a lot more, because ScreenFlow did this really weird thing on me where it wouldn't let me open certain files that I'd recorded within ScreenFlow. Dead strange. Oh, so I've been using ScreenFlow mainly to edit and QuickTime to record. And yeah, guys, QuickTime is the simplest option, and ScreenFlow is a really good option too. And it's a one-time payment as well. And Ola said, what do you use to schedule those calls with clients? Is there an option to just show them several available slots? Inside Organize and Automate, I teach you to use a tool called Calendly and a tool called Acuity Scheduling. What about you, Britt?
I use Acuity, and it's been amazing. Yeah, Acuity is my favorite. So
yeah, I love them both. Calendly is really simple to use, like super, super simple. And so is Acuity Scheduling. The main difference between them both is that Acuity Scheduling actually allows you to accept payments on on calls if you want to. So when they're scheduling a call, you could charge them for that call if you wanted to, whereas Calendly doesn't do that. And what was her other question? Is there an option to just show them several available slots? Yes, you can create your own timeline, and you can block out holiday dates and times that you're busy and all sorts of things like that. Yes, you can customize your schedule so that they can only book the times that you would like to chat with them. Okay, so last few questions. Do you know of a way in Asana to write notes about your project that the client can't see? So what do you do, Britt, when it comes to things that you want to write down that the client can't actually see? Or do you do that at all?
I don't. Let me see. So what was the question?
In Asana, do you know of a way to write down notes about the project that the client can't see?
I'm not aware. Maybe you can.
Yeah, I would just create a separate project that's just for you and your team members, or just for you and your VA, whoever you work with. And in that, you could just create a few notes that you don't want the client to see. And so that just really helps. Instead of you writing it down in a notebook or something like that, it just helps you, again, to keep everything in Asana. So it's just a lot easier for you to access and a lot faster for you to access.
Yeah.
But I don't really make that many separate notes outside of the client project. Most of the time, you can just make all of the notes that you want inside there. Okay, so I think I'm going to take one more question because we've been answering questions for almost an hour. It's fantastic. You guys have got some really great ones. So let's just take Ali's question finally. Ali said, how do you assess your business to change prices, see where you want to change things, or create courses in the future? Yearly, quarterly, how do you plan these changes out? Okay, so how often do you make changes and goals in our business, I think is Ali's question. What about you, Britt? How often do you kind of assess your business and set yourself some goals?
Every day. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like it's a constant work in progress, and I'm constantly getting so many new ideas. But yeah, I try to implement quarterly goals. And since I'm coming up on a year, I'm also thinking about what I want to do. Should I raise my prices? And yeah, so I honestly take it one day at a time and try to schedule out as many goals as possible in a time frame that works for me. For me, I like monthly goals, quarterly goals, and definitely yearly. So kind of all together.
Yeah. This year I tried to do a yearly plan. Call me crazy, but I saw somebody else do it and I thought, I'm going to try that. I want to try and create a yearly plan. And it just didn't work for me because 1 year is just a bit too far out. And I feel like things in business evolve and change so quickly that it's tough to make a year plan. So what I would say is just make a 3-month plan. And that's what I find is the easiest for me to stick to, is just creating 90-day plans. And then once the 90 days are done, move on to planning the next 90 days. That's the least overwhelming way that I could find to set goals.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So we've pretty much come to the end of those questions. I am going to answer a few more questions after we go over the offer with you guys, just in case you've got any last minute questions. But I want to jump into the offer with you guys now, and then after that, I'm going to ask Britt a few questions on her opinion on Organize and Automate, because as you guys know, she's a student. She's been inside the course for a year, so she'll have some great insights to share with you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen, and then I'll tell you guys the special something that I've got for you. Okay, 1 second. So get the strategies that you need with Organize. Now, it's the only training that you'll need to get your design process completely streamlined and running smoothly, to go through your design projects with total ease, to spend less time working and more time creating new products and services, or just spending your time with your family or spending your time doing things that you enjoy, like traveling, going to the gym, learning a language, cooking, whatever it may be. And it's also the only training that you'll need to send your clients away not only feeling happy about their designs, but also delighted with their experience with you. Because that's the thing that will actually get clients coming back to you for more work. If they're not only happy with their designs, but they loved the overall experience, the overall design experience, they'll keep coming back to you for more work, and they'll refer their friends and colleagues your way. Now, this is perfect for you if you're a web or graphic designer who's tired of overdue projects, late files, and forgotten feedback. If you're tired of scouring Pinterest for articles on streamlining and automating your business, and you want all of the information in one place. And it's also perfect for you if you want to learn the tech side of getting organized, but you don't just want tool recommendations, you want step-by-step walkthroughs of how to set up and actually use these tools. That is all inside this course. So you won't just get tool recommendations, you'll get those step-by-step tool trainings. And I would also say that I think that this course is perfect for you if you're a designer, because I know there are a lot of courses out there on streamlining, but there aren't any that are specifically for designers, except for this one that I could find anyway. So if you want something that's specific to brand, web and graphic designers, then this is perfect. Okay, so in Organize and Automate, you'll learn how to organize your inbox, the step-by-step brand web design process, how to manage your projects and clients within Asana, how to speed up and streamline your workflow in Photoshop and Illustrator, what files you should be sending your clients when their project is done, how to train your clients, so we'll go over one-on-one training and also client portals, how to never forget to follow up with your clients again, how to make sure your clients never forget to hand in files on time, tools to help you speed up your web design process, and so much more. So do you want to see inside the course? Okay, so here is what the course looks like when you log in. I'm not going to talk you through absolutely all of it because that would take me a while, but basically you can see that the modules are broken down. There's lessons underneath each module. So the first one is inbox management, and we go over things like using a CRM tool, using email scripts, and 6 Gmail tricks to speed up your inbox workflow. We've also got a module on project management. So that's all about using Asana with your clients, how to communicate with them within Asana and how to train them to use that. We've got streamline your design process and automate your design process, which walks you through how to speed up your design process within Photoshop and Illustrator, and also gives you templates that you can use in your design projects, like mood board templates, brand board templates, and things like that. We've got client onboarding and offboarding. So that will show you the whole onboarding process, how to use Calendly to schedule client calls, and all sorts of other great things like setting up an invoicing system and creating a style guide for your clients. Then the last module in the course is the bonuses section. So that's basically where you'll get these awesome bonuses like your copy and paste email scripts. And my recent addition, the train your clients to use Asana script and video, which, as I mentioned earlier, is a really great new bonus because it's a script that you can use to record a video that teaches your clients why they should be using Asana with you and also how to use it. And if you don't want to record the video yourself, you can use the pre-made one that I created for you. So here's what Caitlin thinks. She says, Organize and Automate is freaking fantastic. I loved it. I absorbed each module like a sponge. The best thing I've gotten out of this course are the solid processes to follow with my clients. I'm still mostly in the finding clients stage right now, but I know that once I begin to book clients, my process will be smooth sailing thanks to Organize and Automate. And Raina has said, I wish I'd known about this course months ago. Even though I've just started with the course, I can already see a huge improvement in my production and stress levels. I'm not spending whole days stuck in my inbox anymore. A few simple strategic changes have made my time my own once again. Nisha has blown me away with the tools, strategies, and systems she outlines in this course. Enroll now rather than later. Number 1, you'll get the freelance marketing plan. which is a 50-page printable workbook that walks you through the main marketing tactics behind all thriving designers, like referrals, online advertising, print advertising, following up, and content marketing. And the reason that I've decided to add this to the offer is because once you're done going through Organize and Automate and creating the perfect design process, you need to actually start booking more clients. And the freelance marketing plan will help you do that. So by the time you finish the plan, you'll basically have a written marketing plan for your freelance design biz. Okay, bonus number 2 is a private Facebook community for students. So if you want a place where you can talk to other designers about your tools, systems, and processes, then our student community is that place, because it's where you can share your process and you can also pick and learn from the processes of other designers. It's the fast action bonus, how to outsource to a virtual assistant, which is worth $49. And well, let me ask you guys, does it feel like your business is taking over your life? Do you spend most of your time on admin tasks instead of designing? Well, a virtual assistant will totally make that problem go away, and you can afford one. That's a big objection that I hear from a lot of freelance designers, is that they don't feel like they are at a stage in their business where they can afford a VA. But there are plenty of affordable VAs out there that you could hire for as little as 3 to 5 hours per month, and you'd be amazed what they can get done in that time. So I'll show you how to outsource to a VA, what to delegate to them, and how to find your perfect VA in this audio training and workbook. I just wanted to answer some popular questions that I always get about this. So the first one is, what if I already enrolled in Organize and Automate? If you've already enrolled, you will get all the bonuses that I've just mentioned. So don't worry about that. You should have already received them in your inbox, but if not, just drop me an email. The other question is, if I'm really busy, will I have time for this? The great thing is that everything in this bundle is evergreen, which means that the course is there for you to complete whenever you want. So yes, you'll absolutely have time for this. Is this course just for designers? Yes, it is. It's for web, graphic, or print designers. So it doesn't matter if you're not a web designer, if you prefer graphic design or whatever. Whether you're a web, print, or graphic designer, it will work for you. But if you're not a designer, you can still enroll if you want to. A lot of it will still apply to your business, but half of it won't. So I wouldn't advise you to enroll if you're not a designer. And is there a guarantee? Yes, there is. There's a 30-day guarantee. So if you enroll in the course and you have tried out the lessons and they haven't improved your business, then you can just email me, tell me why you're unhappy, and we will refund you if it's within the 30-day guarantee. And if you have any questions about the course, now is the perfect time to ask them, because me and Britt are going to be answering some questions about the course, and Britt can tell you her opinion on the course. So I'm just going to stop screen sharing so you can see our faces again. Can you see me?
Not yet.
Okay, well, we will just carry on for a second. And you guys tell me if you can see me or not. But I will just carry on talking for now. I wish it would come back on though. Let me just read what some people have been saying. And Brianna said, just enrolled. Thanks, Nisha. Oh, awesome, Brianna. See you inside the course. And see you in there, Lindsay. Amanda said, I did it. So excited to learn. Oh, awesome, Amanda. I'll see you in there. Can I get the fast action bonus if I already enrolled before the webinar? Yes, you can, Nissa. Just drop me an email. And if you haven't already got it in your inbox, I will send it to you. I think it's working. Okay, I'm back.
Yes, I can hear you, but I can't see the video yet. Oh, there it goes. Awesome. Okay, so Britt, before everybody kind of goes, I want to just get your opinion on Organize and Automate so that they can hear from an actual student. So what was your design process like before Organize and Automate, first of all? I think it was safe to say it was non-existent. Because prior to launching my business, I had worked with a friend on her branding and website, and it was just kind of to get me started, but we didn't use a project management tool, and we did all forms of communication via email, including file exchanging, which was a mess because things always got lost and buried deep in my inbox. But yeah, it was just overall very unorganized and inconsistent. And I found myself spending most of my time in my email and doing admin work and working on other things instead of doing the thing that I actually loved. So
yeah, I can remember being the exact same way.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I booked my first official dream client. I mean, she was perfect in everything that I wanted, and I really wanted to impress her. So I knew that I needed to start implementing some systems, and Organize and Automate came at a perfect time for me. And yeah, it completely changed my business.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. It makes me so happy when I hear from designers who either email in or we hop on Skype, or they just tag me in a social media post and tell me that Organize and Automate has helped transform their design process. It just really makes me so happy.
Yeah.
But what hesitations did you have before enrolling? Because I know before anybody enrolls in anything, like even before I enroll in something, there's always certain hesitations that you have. So what was your hesitation before enrolling in Organize and Automate?
So one of the hesitations I had was honestly how I was going to make time for it. And but the way the modules are listed out and everything, how everything is organized, we have the ability to work at your own pace and kind of take it step by step and do it gradually. So yeah, once I found out that we had lifetime access and we can go at our own pace, it definitely made it seem easier to enroll.
Absolutely. I can't imagine like just putting a time frame on a course and saying this is the amount of time that you've got to get it all done. I just don't like to work that way. I feel like since we're all such busy designers anyway, and we have clients to look after and families to look after, if we can have a course that will just be there when we need it and give us all the templates that we need to get it done as quickly as possible, then that's the best way forward for me. Fast progress and easy progress is what I'm all about. So, and yeah, what kind of results did you see after implementing the things that you learned from Organize and Automate?
Nothing but positive results, honestly. I have learned so many techniques and shortcuts that have ultimately helped create an amazing experience, not only for me, but for the client as well. And my clients rave about it. And especially most of them, they don't really understand how the process all works. So it made them comfortable from the beginning to work with me because they saw, oh, you're organized and you know what you're doing. And it also encouraged them to reach out to other people. So they referred people to me, and so essentially brought in more business. It has lowered my stress levels significantly and increased my productivity. And yeah, just overall changed my business for the better.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear it. I love hearing that. And lastly, what was your favorite part of Organize and Automate? I know people always have like different sections that they feel like they learned the most from. What about you?
My favorite part was creating the welcome packet and seeing how you created this document filled with pretty much everything that they needed. Yeah, I had so much fun diving into that module.
Yeah, and I would clarify as well to everyone that because if you look for a welcome packet module, it's not going to be in there. It's called the no, don't worry about it. It's an onboarding page. So it's basically what it is, in case anybody is thinking, what on earth is that? Is when your clients initially contact you, instead of having this super long email conversation with them about the design process and how it works and all of this stuff, you can basically send them to an onboarding page, which will explain everything to them about how this is going to work and how your collaboration with them is going to work and what they can expect from you in terms of design timelines and things like that. So that's what you'll get from that lesson. So Ali has asked, how long did it take you to go through the course, Britt?
It took me about a couple weeks because honestly, I was so intrigued and I just like dove right in. I couldn't turn away. So yeah, it took me a couple weeks to complete it.
Yeah, I would say that's about right. There's probably a couple of weeks worth of content for you to go to at like a nice pace. I know one designer that went through it in a weekend. She was just like in there implementing it all and straight out again, and she loved that. She could do it that quickly. Yeah, it's up to you. It's up to however much time that you have. If you want to spend 1 hour a day on it, you can. If you want to just spend 15 minutes a day, you can. I always encourage people to just go through it at their own pace. There's no rush. Morgan said, would this welcome page, onboarding page, take the place of a welcome packet that people often send to clients once they onboard? Okay, so I explain this in the course, but I don't like welcome packets that you send to a client after they have booked with you, because you can explain most of what goes inside of a welcome packet on an onboarding page. So what I do is there's the whole onboarding page module that you can use with them to explain everything, to get super clear with them on what happens within a design project. And then instead of sending them another packet or page or whatever it is that you want to create, instead of sending them another one after they have booked their project with you, I just use an email script. And it's inside the email script PDF that comes with the course. And that will explain the few things that aren't explained on an onboarding page that only your paying clients will need to know. But the way that I saw it was that within a welcome packet, I was basically explaining the same thing that I would explain to my clients on an onboarding page. So there's no need for a welcome packet, in my opinion. Just the onboarding page and the email scripts, and you're good to go. And Sonja said, I'm in, excited. Welcome, Sonja. And I think I saw a few other people that I didn't actually remember to welcome. So hi, Kat. She said she's super excited to get started. Jessica said, woohoo, just enrolled. Oh, I'm really excited. And you guys don't forget to join the Facebook group as soon as you can and come and introduce yourself, and you can chat with me in there and with Britt in there and with all of the other designers. And yeah, if you've got any more questions, we're wrapping this up now. So now would be the time to ask any questions that you have left. And yeah, then we'll wrap up and we'll let you guys get on with your day. Somebody has asked you, Britt, what's your Instagram handle?
It's Branded by Britt.
I'll type it in.
Okay, yeah.
Her Instagram is really, really nice as well, you guys. I love it. It's really colourful and it's always like these great designs on there and great inspirational quotes. So you'll definitely love following her.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so Morgan said, this is a little off topic, but no one talks about setting up their taxes for their new business. Yeah, I think that I am going to actually have a webinar coming up in the future with someone who is certified to talk to you all about taxes and all of that jazz. So I'm not going to answer it here, but I can bring in a professional for a free webinar in the future for my community. And if you come to that, you can ask all the tax questions that you want. So Morgan said, yeah, you can't wait for that. I can't wait too. It's going to be really exciting. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today. I've really enjoyed answering your questions. Did we miss one, Britt, or was it okay? Did we answer them all?
I think we covered everything, yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's been really great hanging out with you all. And thank you, Britt, for coming and hanging out with us as well. Honestly, you guys, she's a great designer. She has an amazing website and amazing Instagram profile. So totally geeking out over her Instagram at the moment. But go and check her out because she's just a really great person to know online. And thank you for hanging out with us today and telling everyone about the course and about your experience as a designer. We all really appreciate it.